Hello, welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Malamed Shalita. Hope that everyone had an enjoyable Shabbos and weekend. And here we are back at it again as we continue our study in the laws and customs of Jewish marriage. We left off at the end of last week discussing the requirement of having kosher witnesses at a wedding. Rabbi Malamed continues, Lefichach, likras hachasuna tzorich livkor shnei edim ksherim. When it comes time for the wedding ceremony, you have to pick and choose, designate two kosher witnesses, shetafkidim la'amod li'ad ha'chuppah le'ros as kol seder ha'kiddushin, that they stand under the chuppah and they see the entire process of kiddushin. Va'av shenimtzoim b'chasnu anashim rabim, tzorich li'ached shnei edim ksherim. And even though there are a lot of people that are there that will actually see what's happening, nevertheless, you have to designate these two specific kosher witnesses. Why? Because who gets the front row seats at a chuppah? Who's closest to the action, so to speak? Those are the family members. And Halacha teaches us that family members do not qualify as kosher witnesses. And those who are not family members, who are just friends or acquaintances, they can't see everything up close what's happening, and they wouldn't be able to discern the nature of the actions that are taking place under the chuppah. And also we take into account the opinion of many poskim who hold because some hold that if you have a mixed group where you have kosher Edom, but in that group there are also non-kosher Edom, so in this case it would be relatives, then it kind of passels the entire group. It invalidates the entire group. Therefore we designate two witnesses. The officiant would then say to these witnesses, Rak atem ha'edim. You are the only witnesses for the purpose of Kedushin. Not that everyone else can't see, but you are designated as the witnesses. Kolomar al techashvu she'atem ha'edim kan biyachad im hakrovim el rak atem ha'edim. As if to say, don't think that you are witnessing what's taking place together with all the relatives who are here, but only you are the witnesses. Al yedei kach hakrovim lo mitzarfim le'edus u'memela einem postem osa. This way, the relatives who are all surrounding would not invalidate these two as proper witnesses. And therefore, we have to specifically designate them, and that we want these two witnesses, the two witnesses who will sign the ketubah beforehand, or the two witnesses who will witness under the chuppah, that they will be designated as only the two of them. So when I officiate a wedding, I'll always follow the practice where we tell the bride and the groom to designate the witnesses. We say, Atem Edai, you are my witnesses, which means to the exclusion of all others. Ha'edim tzrichim lias kesherim. The witnesses have to be what we call kosher witnesses. What does that mean? Hainu zecharim bogrim, they have to be males of age over bar mitzvah. Shomrei Torah u'mitzvos, they have to be Torah observant, follow the mitzvos. Ben 13 lepachos, at least 13 years old. She'enam krovi mishpacha shel hachasan o hakala. They cannot be relatives of the bride or the groom. Aval achim dodim bnei dodim saba v'saba rabba shel hachasan o hakala psulam le'edus hol v'hem krovi mishpacha. Therefore, we see that brothers, uncles, cousins, grandfathers, great-grandfathers of the bride and the groom, they cannot serve as witnesses for a chuppah. V'chein poel she'oved etzel hachasan o hakala pasal lahed b'chasan l'asem shehu tole behem b'maskorto. He says also maybe perhaps someone who works for the bride or the groom may also be invalidated to serve as a witness because he relies on them for his livelihood. An interesting shita. Aval chaverim tovim, but good friends. She'ein beinehem lebein echad mipnei hazug kirva mishpachtit o talos kaspit yichalim l'shamesh keidim. But good friends, good acquaintances who do not have any specific relation to the bride or the groom, familiar relation, or they have no monetary dependence upon either of them, they can serve as witness. Adam she'einu mizda'el mirchei haTorah v'mitzvot she'alehem mevusasim hakedushim einu yochel lios eid b'chasana. A person who is not careful in Torah and mitzvos, and he is not scrupulous in his performance, cannot serve as a witness at a wedding. V'lachein, Adam shechote begilui arayos pasal edus, someone who is unscrupulous with his personal relationships, he cannot serve as a witness, meaning that he has extramarital affairs, something like that. V'chein ganav pasal lios eid, someone who is known to be a thief, cannot be a witness. Vein hevdel bein adam shemisparetz lebeis chavera b'layla v'gonev lebeimi shemocher bechanut u'mishanes hamishkal tavaso. Interesting, he says that there's no difference with someone who sneaks into someone's house to steal something in the cover of night, or someone who has a store and he has dishonest weights and measures. Or menahel mif'al shegonev kesef mecheshbon hamifal kiso, or someone who steals or embezzles from a company. Kol eila ganavim upsulim le'edus. These are all considered ganavim. They're all thieves and cannot serve as a witness. V'chein adam she'ena shomer Shabbos k'hilchasa. The general standard that we have here in the diaspora, we ask, is somebody a shomer Shabbos male, not related to bride or groom, that a person has to be Sabbath observant. If he's not, einu kosher le'edus hakedushim mevusasam lamitzvos haTorah, then he cannot serve as an eid kedushin. Kivan shalidei ha'edim ha'kedushim v'anisum mitzbatzeim noagin lechatchila lahader bebechiras edim yirei shemayim v'yesh makbekidim livkor talmidei chachamim le'edim. He says, so therefore we want to be very careful when we pick our witnesses that they are indeed people who are Torah observant, people who are God-fearing yirei shemayim, and also we try to find people who are talmidei chachamim. There's a lot that's riding on this. If you think about it, if you serve as the eid kedushin, then the whole veracity of this process and the affecting of these two individuals becoming single people, now a married couple, is really on your hands, on your head, and therefore we rely on a person. Now, I've often found that this is one of the more challenging aspects in certain, depending on what the family situations are in the weddings that we perform, but sometimes it's not so easy as one would think to find kosher edim, and we have to try and find out. And I often find that people are not always entirely honest either, to be, if you can imagine that. Nobody wants, because it's hard to say to somebody, are you a thief? Are you honest? Are you shomer Shabbos? And we have certain standards that we follow, so sometimes we just have to rely on the information that we have. But if we know for a fact that certain things take place, then we try not to ask those individuals to begin with. It's not a discriminatory thing, it's a halachic aspect. We want to make sure that we have weddings that are done halachically proper, because we're trying to get these two individuals, the young man and the young woman, married. And in order to affect their new status, to affect their kedushin, we have to have all the right things in place. And a major part of that is, of course, kosher edim. So we thank you for listening. We will see you here again next time. Hope everyone has a great week ahead. And we'll see you and listen here next time.